Hey friends, welcome back to another Tableau Essentials video. We are going to take a look at how we can really make the most out of some of the simple tools available to us in Tableau to go from building charts that are kind of one-dimensional to sprinkling a little bit more spice in there and making something that's speaking to multiple things, kind of providing extra context all in one compact visual, and doing so in a way that's not introducing a lot of clutter, but is providing us a way to get the specific, exact numbers if we really want. So let's see this in action and talk through it as we go. We can set the stage by just making the classic kind of visual. Subcategories up to rows, sales up to columns. Of course, the rows in the column shelf is always playing that role of building the scaffolding for our visual. So this is going to be the structure of where things are. Subcategory on rows means each row here is a subcategory. Sales on columns means that the x-axis, the horizontal real estate, is just giving us the volume of sales in this case. So let's sort this in descending order using the quick sort icon. And already this is something that many dashboards out there in the world just have this kind of one-dimensional view. And we can already spice this up by taking something like profit ratio and dragging this out to our marks card. So the marks card is like the artistic expression of your visuals, whereas rows and columns give you the scaffolding of how your visual is going to be structured. The marks card is really giving you control over, are we looking at bars? Are we looking at circles? Are we looking at shapes? You have a lot of control over how that data gets rendered through your marks card. So in this case, we are looking at bars. We have profit on color, and now we can introduce this new concept, which is a dual axis chart. So a dual axis chart is something good to know here is that when you make a dual axis chart, you are actually going to be creating a completely independent axis, independent from the one we already have out here, which is sales. And there are two ways to do this in terms of actually making it come to life in your visual. The traditional way is you might drag a new metric out here. In this case, I'm bringing discount out here next to sales in columns, which if you understand how the structure of your visual changes from rows and columns, this is saying I have a new set of columns, a different independent visual in a sense. And let's go ahead and make this average discount. That's actually that's what I care about in this fake business we're running. So I'm going to make that the average discount. And then if I wanted this to be a dual axis chart, I could right click on this this neighbor of sales that I dragged in here, and I could say, okay, discount, I want you to be a dual axis. And we can see that that in this touching moment of harmony, we went from, look at this, two separate pills being the kind of ovals which encapsulate your field names in Tableau. It's just Tableau slang for this kind of object. When we right click on this and say, I want you to be a dual axis, you can see that little touching moment of harmony. They get joined in holy matrimony, and these two are now combined together to make one visual, but it's a dual axis chart. We have average discount up here, we have sales down below, and if you're if you're paying attention to detail really closely, you might notice my marks card over here is changing. When I click on average discount, there's this marks card for average discount. When I click on sales, I see a marks card for sales. You also have all. What all is going to do is it's going to allow me to make a change for both of these things at the same time. Like I can make them both be represented as circles, but I don't want to do that. Instead, I want to control these axes independently. Now, the reason I want to do that is I want my discounts to be a circle instead of a bar. And then I think it's kind of tacky that the dots over here have the same color as the bars. Like, we already know the context of our profit ratio by seeing it in the bars. So to make deliberate use of the tools available to us, that sometimes also means deliberately minimizing the distractions. So let's get rid of profit ratio on color for our dots. And I'm also going to say, in the spirit of deliberately doing things to make our visuals better and to tell the story of our data better, it's going to be nice if we can actually see these damn little dots. So let's go over to color. Let's make these things a little bit darker. Of course, we made this part of the visual happier. We made this part very sad. Let's go ahead and go to color, and let's change the border to be a little, have a white border for the color. So once again, how do you do this? You can go to color, you can go down to border, and you can change or introduce a border of any given color around your whichever thing you're editing. In this case, the circles, which tell us what our average discount is. So this just helps us a bit, out here where the dots are sitting on a white background, there's really no impact. But over here where the dots are sitting on our, various, colors, you want that contrast to kind of come out to see things better. Now we have that contrast kind of introduced by having a white circle around our black dots, which helps us when we are sitting on top of an already dark blue bar. All right, enough about that. What is this allowing us to do? Well, visually, we can now see, okay, we have sales being represented to us by the length of the bars. We have profit ratio being represented by the color of the bars. And then we also get the added context of discounts. And this kind of this can help us explore our data much more easily than if we were to say not have discount on in the dual axis, because here you might say, like an alternative, you might have discount sitting in your marks card, and let's make this the average discount again, and you could say, okay, tables has a really high average discount, or I would assume this is high. 26% discount seems pretty high, and it has a negative profit ratio. Well, somebody just, if they hover over this with a sample size of 1, they might say, I know what's causing this unprofitability. It's these high discounts. But when you have your discount as a dual axis chart, you can immediately see that hypothesis is false. Like, no, look over here, we have 37% discount. And why am I saying 37%? This is 0.37. Well, let's also deliberately, in the spirit of making deliberate choices here, let's be deliberate about how we're formatting our numbers. So I just right-clicked this average discount and clicked to format, and I'm formatting how these numbers appear in this specific visual to be percentages. And what we can see now, after that little side quest, we have 37.23% this average discount for binders. And so that hypothesis that the high discounts, relatively high discounts for tables is why it's unprofitable, well, it's not necessarily true. We can see some of these other profitable subcategories also have high discounts. But this is a nice start because now you have extra context for your visuals. You're making your data come to life, and it becomes much easier for you to build interactive dashboards where you can come to very compelling insights because your visuals no longer just giving you one-dimensional information, right? If we were just looking at this and all we had was the context of I'm looking at my sales by subcategory, okay, phones is the best, chairs is the second best. Storage, third best, tables, fourth best. Well, that story changes once you get profit ratio into the picture, and that story changes even more once you have discount or some other KPI in the picture. And the price you pay for adding this in is just the time it takes of your investment to build the chart. There's really not too much clutter that this introduces to your visual. So I would argue that a lot of times having the dual axis representations of information makes a lot of sense for exploring your data and for understanding these relative relationships between different KPIs. That is all I really wanted to cover in this video. So hopefully this helps somebody out there understand how they can make the most out of the scaffolding of their visuals, starting to venture out into doing dual axis charts, but also helps you understand a bit more about what's going on with the marks card and learning how you can visually express your information by controlling the marks card. So hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you in future videos.